what's new is that the European Union is recognizing that we're investing a lot of money, but the capacity to continue to invest and at the level that's required to meet the digital decade objective of the European Union is not going to be enough. And there's this figure that the Commission recognizes, 200 billion euro gap of investment by 2030, which is just coming out of the plans to invest by telecom operators and the gap to what would be needed to cover the entire continent with 5G and fiber.
Your return on capital employed wasn't too bad last year, though, 6.7%, a little bit off some of the US operators. What should that look like?
Well, I mean, if you're an investor and the return on capital employed is improving, but it's still below our cost of capital. And that's something that's not sustainable in the long run. So that's actually the issue in the industry. We all need to increase our return on capital. Otherwise, we're not attractive for investors, and that's a real issue if we want to continue to invest in infrastructure and in our industry.
What jumped out to me this week, having the four telecom CEOs on stage with me, including you, was this approach is antagonistic towards regulators. In the past, we've seen telecoms companies trying to put a friendly face on when interacting with the same regulators that can make their life difficult. So you clearly all feel very passionate about this.
But that's because we're used to going to Brussels and telling the story. But I think using the exposure of the Mobile World Congress to talk openly about how determined we are on working together to fixing, because we take our share, it's not just a regulator's issue, we also have to improve and innovate better and faster together, being more open, because the telecom ecosystem has not always been fast to adopt innovation and to work in open manner, and which is why the Open Gateway initiative that we've talked a lot about this week and we launched only 1 year ago is so important, because it's about making sure that we also, instead of competing with each other, we will continue to compete between each other, but also collaborating to make sure that the value that sits in our network around safety, digital identity, anti-fraud, and there's many things that we are trusted partners for our customers. This is something that we do want to innovate on together, and it only works if we do it together, because we need scale, and this is something that internet providers or the over-the-top providers, obviously they look at scale, they come to Europe through the internet and they can immediately reach all the customers. We are highly regulated at the national level, so we can only succeed if we join forces and build standards, and we are used to doing that. Collaboration in our industry, that's been the fundamental of roaming, GSM from the beginning. But we need to do it faster and in a lot more open manner.